In her heyday she was known as the Queen of the Square Table, Louise Peters, child prodigy and golden child of Australia. Today she is known to the world as the victim of the most horrific sporting event the world has ever seen. This is the story of Louise Peters.
This interview was located in our network's archives from the year 2006.
So, tell us how the chess life has changed you.
Well, I guess I'm no rookie when it comes to chess. But, yeah, no, I am very lucky. I've got great mentors, I've got great fans and family and friends, and yeah.
So what are your goals for the future?
Well, I don't know. I just want to enter as many competitions as I can and hopefully win a few more checks, mate.
Yes, it seemed like the world was filled with nothing but possibilities for this tween queen. At the age of just 16, she became world-renowned as the most famous chess player ever to be seen. On swear. However, tragedy was soon to strike in the heart of Louise's career. On the eve of her 17th birthday, whilst competing in the qualifying rounds for the International World Chess Championships, tragedy struck.
Well, it was a huge shock. I mean, I never really expected something like this in such a dignified sport like chess. When I was growing up, chess represented nobility and true sportsmanship, but well, Louise, she was just the unlucky one.
That day, Emily Nagle, known on the square as the Lord of the Kings, in what could only be described as a move of pure teenage angst and anger, threw the chessboard up into the air. It was a move that the world would never soon forget. On that fateful day, Louise's life would be changed forever. Emily Nagle's dark night lodged in Louise's eye, causing one of the most dramatic tragedies and injuries the sporting world has ever seen. Despite months of gruelling rehabilitation and treatment, it became more and more evident that Louise's life of chess was over. So, you'd obviously been refereeing for quite a few years, so you must have known both Louise and her opponent very well.
Yeah, well, I knew them both. I'd been refereeing for years, and they were both incredible players. No one could have seen what was coming. I mean, it was just such a shock for everyone. Yeah.
So you haven't played chess since the event?
Never. Not touched a piece since.
Do you think that there will ever be a day when you can retake the square?
I don't think so. After seeing what happened to Louise, I could never go back there.
So, when did you realise that Louise's talent would be as big as it was?
From a very young age, I was mentoring her, and it sort of just grew, and probably about age 5, when we really started hitting off and she started winning in the local tournaments, and I thought, wow, I've really got something big on my hands here. I had to craft it, obviously. She was still very wild at that stage, but I knew from that moment on that this was going to be big.
So, when Louise won her first international championship, as you said you were with her from the beginning, did that have an effect on not only her life but yours?
Well, it would to anyone. I mean, for me personally, I was overwhelmed with joy, and I mean, I treated her like my own child. She meant everything to me, so when she won, all my Christmases came at once, for a better word.
Indeed, yes. And so, as we clearly established, you and Louise were incredibly close.
Oh, we were. I was more than her mentor. I mean, I was good friends with her. She told me everything. I was her confidant.
So did the chess life, the life of fame, and this athletic life that you see in the paper so often has such a detrimental effect on people, did it ever happen to Louise? Were there moments when you thought, maybe we're not doing the right thing?
There were times, I'll be honest with you there, Sally. She would go off on rampages down the street, yelling and screaming at some point, saying she'd never want to do this I had forced her into it, but I mean, at the end of the day, we were together in this, and we had got there together.
Do you talk about the accident?
Well, I try not to, but I mean, it's pretty obvious when I wear glasses inside all the time. It happens to be a topic of conversation.
Yeah. So, run us through a typical day with the training session with Louise.
So a typical training session would probably first start out with some hand exercises and movements for speed and stability. So we'd first work on these two fingers to grab and move the pieces and around the board and everything. So we would probably, would work on that for a little while. Okay, and so then we'd move into some crunches, and because we'd want to work on speed for standing up and sitting down and everything in a test tournament, because sometimes stuff happens that you just want to be prepared for. Physically, she wasn't up to scratch, and she was becoming off on her approaches and attacks and fingering. It was all off. So,
what are your plans for the future?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually opening up a chess academy for young disadvantaged chess players. So I still get to be a part of that world, but you know, I may be off the board, but never out of the game.
This was the last recorded interview with Louise Peters. After years of struggle, hardship and boundaries, Louise's daring vision to open an elite chess academy in her hometown was nearly realised. But just 2 days before the grand opening, Louise tragically died as a result of an undetected blood clot in her injured eye. So this is where you used to practice?
Yes, this is where we used to practice. It's many happy memories. I mean, what can I say? Just, it's a part of my life that I don't think I'll ever get back.
Is it difficult knowing what her life could have been?
Definitely. All the time I think about what could have been. I've got a picture, it sounds petty, on my wall, and every day I say a little something to it. And, I mean, it gives me hope for the future, but definitely there's something missing in my life since that day.
Do you feel that she's still with you?
Definitely. There is a presence within me, I think, which I'd like to think is always.
After her death, Kieran Allen, Louise Peters' brother, undertook responsibility of the chess academy Louise had for so long striven to open. Today, in memorial of Louise, and to continue her bold work, her philosophy is forever etched on the school's entrance. Don't dare to dream, dare to do.